1. The presidents who were before Maya Sandu and Igor Dodon was Nikolai Timofey, who is known as he held the position of judge during the Moldavian Soviet Socialist Republic. He, Nikolai Timofey, sent anti-communists, Moldovans who were against the communists, to psychiatric hospitals, as did another individual who later became the Prosecutor General of Romania, Augustin Lazar. Prosecutor Augustin Lazar is guilty of the physical and mental torture of the dissident Iulius Filip, when he was the president of the Parole Commission in the Aiud Penitentiary. According to Law No. 23/1969, in each penitentiary there was a commission that made decisions regarding the conditional release of those who had served 2/3 of their sentence. The president of this commission was a prosecutor delegated by the county prosecutor's office from the territorial area of the penitentiary. Prosecutor Augustin Lazar was at Aiud in 1985 and 1986. The fate of the dissident Iulius Filip depended on him, forced to serve the full sentence of 5 years and 4 months, by the Cluj military court sentence of 1982, although his torture could at least be limited until 1985, when he had the right to parole. But the prosecutor Augustin Lazar decided that Iulius Filip should stay in prison, under the cruelest tortures, until 1987. Communists support each other. Maya Sandu, I had the special honor to have a meeting with Mr. Augustin Lazar, former Prosecutor General of Romania, a great promoter of the independence of the judicial system and the strengthening of the rule of law in Romania. We discussed our plans for justice reform and the fight against corruption. His Highness shared several aspects of his own experience as head of the public ministry, but also positively assessed our initiatives to reform the prosecution bodies. But I was even more pleased by the fact that His Lordship expressed in principle his willingness to get involved in the advisory team for the promotion 1. https://balkaninsight.com/2019/09/20/Romanian-court-rules-basis-securitate-informer/?? Vgled equals IWAR2JIX0WOYCSDB FONFOAS UGLNV6S6ZZGQOES4SYC7AIZAZW. Of justice reform in our country. Real changes can only be possible with the support of people of integrity, who show firmness and courage in the fight against money laundering and grand corruption. We need such a prosecutor in the Republic of Moldova, and we hope to be able to rely on the experience and professionalism of people like Augustin Lazar. Point 2. If some people think that some communists were helped with money to study at Harvard, I want to disappoint the Americans that they still remain communists. In June 2019, new government was formed from a coalition of two groups, the pro-Russian Socialist Party and Bloc ACUM, now. As a result of this coalition, Maya Sandu was elected as Prime Minister, and Zinaida Greceanii as President of the Parliament, and Igor Dodon remained President. 9 reasons to stop supporting Bloc now, ACUM. Update October 19, 2019. I supported the ACUM, now, until the moment they decided to form an alliance with the PSRM, a pro-Russian party. I started criticizing them for this alliance, and especially because the ACUM, now, gave the Russians the Ministry of Defense, SIS, Information and Security Service, the only security service in the Republic of Moldova, SPPS, State Protection and Guard Service. 1. PSRM and ACUM voted for Zinaida Greceanii Speaker on April 7, 2009, Zinaida Greceanii, Communist member, was Prime Minister. And Igor Dodon, Communist member, was Vice Prime Minister, and 10 years later in 2019 we have Igor Dodon, now Socialist, President of Moldova, and Zinaida Greceanii, she is also a Socialist now, is in the position of Speaker of the Parliament. 2. Transfer of the Ministry of Defense. SIS, Information and Security Service, SPPS, State Protection and Guard Service. All the security/defense of Moldova has been handed over to the Russians. Taking into account that every embassy belonging to the Republic of Moldova has a military attaché and at least one CIS collaborator, we can say that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and 2 https://www.facebook.com/maya.sandview/post/105730941114444. European integration is also controlled or at least aware of everything that happens abroad and especially the diaspora that always voted against the socialists. 3. Andrei Nastas and socialist Vlad Batrinsa voted for Russia to be accepted again within the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Ukraine, Poland, Great Britain, Georgia, Lithuania, Sweden, Latvia, and Estonia voted against the return of the Russian Federation. Georgia and Ukraine left the hall in protest. Ukraine's delegation said it was suspending work at pace in protest at the lifting of the punishment imposed on Russia in 2014. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his disappointment, saying the punishment of Russia should not be lifted as long as Moscow does not respect human rights. Nastas's statement that he thought about the Russian citizens is still not plausible because the Russian civil society fighting against Putin vehemently criticized this decision. Garry Kasparov, message for those who voted in favor of Russia at pace, fuck you. Garry Kasparov wrote on Twitter, on behalf of Russian civil society, forced to live in foreign countries, go to hell. Pleasing a dictator and rewarding aggression will only make things worse, as always. To vote for the Russians when you have occupation troops of the Russian army stationed illegally in the eastern territory of the Republic of Moldova seems to me to be national treason. The U.S. ambassador to Chisinau, Derek J. Hogan, the host of the program In Depth on Pro TV said, "What I can tell you is that the U.S. government supported the proposal of the Ukrainians not to make any changes, let us say accepted Russia, while the situation with the attempted annexation of Crimea remains a problem. Respectively, I can tell you that we were not satisfied with the results of this vote for Igor Dodon's advisor, Ruslan Flecha, director of CNA. Ruslan Flecha was the General Secretary of the Office of the President of the Republic of Moldova Igor Dodon. He was an advisor to Zinaida Greceanu when she was Prime Minister and he headed the Central Territorial Directorate of the CNA. With the CIS and the CNA at your disposal, I can assure you that they will become tools that will destroy political opponents, inconvenient people, businessmen." 5. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nicu Popescu, called the 1992 conflict on the Dniester a civil war in Bucharest. It was a war of aggression by Russia against the Republic of Moldova. Nicu Popescu has a degree in political science, international relations, Moscow State University of International Relations, Russia, 1998–2002. 6. The election of Vladimir Turkin at the head of the Constitutional Court without an amendment to the Constitution, accession to NATO and integration into the European Union is impossible. It is impossible to integrate into the EU when the Constitutional Court is led by the man of Moscow. Vladimir Turkin is a former Minister of the Interior, 1997–2001. Between 2002 and 2005, he was the ambassador of the Republic of Moldova in Moscow. Between 2005 to 2009 he was a deputy from the Communist Party, led by Vladimir Voronin. From 2014 to the present, he is a deputy from the Party of Socialists. 7. Igor Dodon gave a speech in Russian at the UN General Assembly. The Republic of Moldova is a parliamentary republic and should have been represented at this international forum by Prime Minister Maia Sandu. She authorized Dodon to participate in the 74th session, on the grounds that the government is much busier from the UN podium. Zelensky spoke about the war in Donbas and showed a bullet, which killed the opera singer Vasily Slipik. Only a traitor could speak Russian and praise Russia when you have occupation troops of the Russian army stationed illegally in the eastern territory of the Republic of Moldova. 8. ACUM deputies did not vote for the creation of the Commission of Inquiry regarding the financing of the PSRM in Moscow. A video captures President Igor Dodon asking for money from PDM leader Vlad Plotnyuk. Igor Dodon says that he received $700,000 to $800,000 a month from the Russian Federation. The General Prosecutor's office self-reported and started a criminal process in the case of PSRM financing. And what do you think happened next? The Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's office terminated the criminal case regarding the financing of PSRM in Russia, started on the basis of video recordings of discussions held between Igor Dodon and Vladimir Plotnyuk at PDM headquarters. 9. The ACUM bloc violated their own commitment not to participate in the creation of a governing coalition, formal or informal, with PD, PSRM, the Shore Party, our Party, Partijul Nostru, and other pro-oligarchic and anti-European formations on February 21, 2019. The candidates of the bloc now, ACUM, in the national constituency and in the single-member constituencies signed the ACUM candidate's commitment to the citizens of the Republic of Moldova. The commitment stipulates that each candidate now commits to the people of the Republic of Moldova not to participate in the creation of a governing coalition, formal or informal, with PD, PSRM, the Shore Party, our Party and other pro-oligarchic and anti-European formations in case they enter the parliament.